What is the most unusual corrective action you've seen them do to someone or to you?
For me, the answer to that is when I was in the hole is the place where people at the international base were kept 24/7 under guard.
In 2004, Miscavige ordered the top officers of the Sea Org to Scientology's Gold Base in Southern California. He forced them to live in a pair of double-wide trailers that came to be called the Hole.
You did absolutely nothing all day except confess to imagined supposed crimes. It was truthfully a thought reform program that was put into place and used as a threat for other people that were outside of it, that watch out or otherwise you're going to be put in the hole too.
Dave would have meetings with executives and go, okay, good, so what are you doing for Scientology? Oh, you're not doing anything? Oh, I'm doing all the work? Okay, you're going into the hole.
He had put about 40 executives of Scientology International basically locked up into a room called the Hole. It had bars on the windows, and the one entrance was guarded by security 24 hours a day.
It was literally an office building that was the international management office building that consisted of two double-wide trailers connected together that had the entrances and exits barred except for one, which was at the front where there was a 24-hour-a-day security guard. All of the windows were screwed so that they could not be opened beyond this much, so nobody could get out a window. The doors had bars put on them. The windows all had bars put on them.
I'm the guy that put the bars on the doors of the Hole.
Describe what the Hole is.
Well, originally it was just offices that were set up with some office trailers as temporary headquarters. I got called by Miscavige's secretary, and he said, COB wants this place made secure. He wants bars put on all the doors so no one can get out, except for the front main entrance. And I thought I could do a far better job just putting big, long 4-inch steel screws around the perimeter of the door all the way into the jamb and framing. And he said, no, 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 no. He said bars. And then I got it. He wanted these people to know that they were in prison. So I went down to the estates building and I rummaged around. I found these nice steel bars. And I went and I put this bar on the door. And then I went inside and I screwed blocks in the side of the windows so they could only open about 4.5 inches. Body wouldn't be able to get through.
More than 100 people were in that building 24/7, sleeping literally on the floor, being fed whatever was left over from the dining room, and being allowed to go take a shower once a day unless David Miscavige happened to be on the base and he didn't want to catch sight of anybody, so if he was around, then nobody even took a shower.
I had to stay there, sleep there. It stunk, and there were ants crawling around. You sleep about an hour, 2 hours a night. You were in such a mental state that you're very controllable, very suggestible. We were told we needed to come up with what each other's crimes were against Miscavige and Hubbard so that we could eventually get out of the hole.
Confess your crimes, confess your crimes. What have you done?
Fights would break out. Miscavige would get me all riled up, and I remember one time Mike had done something or not done something, I don't remember, and I was supposed to go beat him up.
One executive was made to mop up the bathroom floor with his tongue. Another was put into a bucket and pummeled by some of the women and called a lesbian.
There was a very powerful air conditioner which blew straight down, and it was set on maximum cold, and a guy was made to sit in a chair and had water poured on his head until he literally turned blue.
Miscavige slapped me across the face, knocked me on the ground, kicked me a couple times.
Flailing fists, kneeing him in the stomach, getting him on the floor.
And the carpet there was industrial strength carpet. And people, myself included, were made to crawl around on their hands and knees around this big table. And eventually your hands become bloodied and your knees become bloodied, and the next day you're doing it again, so it never really heals. And when you're in that sort of insane Lord of the Flies setting, what happens is there will be a strong personality, and that person will appear to be the one who's figured out how they're going to get out. Those strong personalities are the ones that tend to abuse other people as a way of proving their strength. They are seen as the example of who do we follow. So then pretty soon you have everybody doing the same thing. This was part of the culture to attempt to beat confessions out of other people, to be able to say to David Miscavige, I got this guy finally to admit to all the horrible things that he has done.
And this went on for years. This isn't a couple of days. The nominal president of the church is a man named Heber Gent. She was in there for 7 years.
Now, you stayed, Mike, because like most of Scientologists, but also what you guys have been through, Sea Org members, you believed that you deserved it at that time.
I did. I also believed that it would be catastrophic to my marriage, to my children, to my mother, to my father, to my brother, to my sister, everybody. Nevertheless, I mean, I ultimately came to the point where I left. I wish I had done so sooner. Hey, I'm glad I went now and I'm not still sitting up there, because I could literally still be there with Guillaume and Ray Midoff and all those other executives.